Hare Ganga Mahadev Sri Shankara Parvati Pati Mahadev Sri Shankara.
Namaste, it's Sahara Rose, and welcome back to the Highest Self podcast, a place to discuss what makes you your soul's highest involvement. Are you ready to share your message with the world in a bigger way? To up-level your business, whether it's through your signature event or your top-ranked podcast or your best-selling book, your flagship program, your unique method. Essentially, you are a woman on a mission, ready to create your femme-powered empire. Well, if this is you, I invite you to apply to my Together We Impress mastermind, co-facilitated by my dear friends, Sarah Pendrick and Jenna Phillips-Ballard. Essentially, this mastermind is for you if you are a female who is ready to create a personal brand that is raising the vibration of the planet. We're going to be really diving deep, supporting you with weekly calls to live experiential weekends here in LA, expert guests, and so much more. So if you're interested, you're curious, and you're ready to apply, I invite you to head over to togetherweimpress.com. That's Empress with an E, like the Empress that you are. Again, that is togetherweimpress.com. You can find that link in the show notes, and I am so excited to have you join us. Are you interested in having a career focused on health and wellness? Well, if so, then the universe is calling you to become a holistic health coach. I am offering this incredible deal, a discount of $1,500 off my alma mater, Institute for Integrative Nutrition, which is the world's largest nutrition school with guest teachers such as Deepak Chopra, Chris Carr, Dr. Hyman, and Dr. Andrew Whale, and so many others. It is split between 6 months of health coaching programs teaching you hundreds of nutritional theories, including Ayurveda, as well as 6 months of business coaching. And as an additional bonus, I am offering a webinar where I will teach you how to use social media to create a thriving career as a health coach. On top of that, I have created a private Facebook community just for the Highest Self podcast listeners who are becoming health coaches to connect with each other, meet up with each other, and support one another on this journey. So if you're interested, send an email over to Sahara, Sahara, at eatfeelfresh.com with subject IIN. Again, Sahara at eatfeelfresh.com with subject IIN. And I will personally send you back the email that will allow you to get a $1,500 off discount, as well as my business coaching webinar and the private Facebook group. I'm so excited for you to begin your journey as a health coach. If it is your first time listening, welcome. I am so grateful that our paths have connected at this moment in space and time. And if you are here every week, what up? What it do? How are things going? Oh, goddess, it is a time of major up-levelings. I'm seeing it left and right in myself that many of us are being tested. We are asked to step up to the higher version of ourselves. And how I kind of see it is around the start of eclipse season, so around Christmas time, we majorly up-leveled. So that up-leveling may have happened in a shift in your perspective about your Dharma, or maybe a new relationship or an ended relationship, or a move, or you signed up for a new program, or something that brought you closer to your truth. And it was a major up-leveling. And right now, what I'm seeing is happening is the setting up the stairs, setting up the foundation to get to stay at that higher place. So for example, I could bring you up on stage to perform, but have you practice, or are you ready for the performance? Or I could bring you up, to my height, but have you maintained, the muscles to stay there. So this is really the time that we're working on ourselves. We're preparing ourselves. We're studying. We're going in. We are learning about the things that may have held us back. I know for myself, I just signed up for a bookkeeping course, the least sexy thing ever, because I realized for myself, myself, finances were the thing that I always passed over. I've never taken a class in finance. I took it like one class and I immediately quit. And for me, I'm being called to really step into being more aware of my finances and understanding how things go and having more organization in that space. And I feel like that will help take everything in my life, all Lakshmi codes, to the next level. A good friend of mine was just here and she just got engaged right, on Christmas Eve, which is a huge upleveling. And now she's facing a lot of, old money stuff, shadow stuff coming up. And that was stuff that she needs to really clear to fully be ready to be received and show up as a wife and as a partner. So right now, this is the time that we may feel like we're being tested. We may feel like life is really difficult. We're being shown obstacle after obstacle. And it honestly might feel like you are playing ping pong with the world. The world is throwing you one thing, you're ping-ponging it back. And if you aren't aware that this is actually bringing you greater strength and greater alignment, how it actually could feel is very fight or flight. It might feel like, holy crap, I can't keep up with all of the demands from the world because every single time I open my eyes, I open my email and there's shit I have to deal with, or my friend is texting me some drama, or my boss or my mom or whatever else is happening. And it could feel extremely overwhelming, like the world is out to get you, like you don't know what you did wrong. It's just a series of unfortunate events and you don't know how to get to the bottom of it if you are not seeing the lessons. But if you see this as your unique training program to fully prepare you to step into this Dharma, you're like, oh shit, this is amazing. This is my workout at the gym. And actually the game hasn't even started yet. I'm still working out. I'm still preparing on the off season. We really are still at the very beginning of the year. And this year, I've said this before, this is the year of Durga, and this is the year of Dharma. This is the year of really stepping up courageously towards your Dharma, your soul's purpose. And interestingly enough, the book that I just wrote, which is going to come out January of 2021, is called Discover Your Dharma. And the goddess in Rose Gold Goddesses, my Sacred Sisterhood collective for January, that kicked off not only this year of 2020, but this entire decade of, I don't call it the roaring 20s, I call it the soaring 20s, because this time we are soaring. Guess whose energy that was? It was Durga. And that is the goddess of courage, confidence, strength, and Dharma. So we got the double D's here. And this is why beginning of the year is like, okay, we're training for the Olympics. This is still our first month. This is still us, preparing, getting our training wheels off, figuring out our balance, figuring out our flow, figuring out who we want in our life, who's a fit, who's not, what are the systems going to look like, what is my life going to look like, what are my daily actions going to be. And I've shared this in the last podcast, realizing that you're not fucking fragile, but you're actually more empowered than you give yourself credit to. So I shared this in the last solo cast that I did last week, but there's this massive disbelief that is being spread like a poison, honestly, in the spiritual community. And that's this feeling of like, oh God, like you don't have that much energy, so preserve your energy. And it can actually really work against people. Because yes, of course, we're not always going to be awake. We're not always going to be creating. We're not always going to be, the us on stage or on tour, whatever it is. We're not always going to be that person, but you have endless amounts of energy when you are connected to your Dharma. You will surprise yourself by the amount of energy you have. And most of us are using 5% of our brain. More than that, we're probably using 1% of our soul. And that is really what's going to fuel you. Most of us are just playing on the sidelines of that game, which is our life. And we feel like we're not ready. We feel like we don't have the energy for it. We feel like, oh, I need another bath. I need another, Netflix show to watch. I need something else to do, some snacks, something else. I'm not prepared enough yet. I talked about this in the podcast about imposter syndrome with Brett Larkin last month. You are ready for it. And in fact, the only way that you get more ready for it is by doing it, by taking action. And that action could be sharing with a friend, sharing with a stranger, sending an email, writing a draft, writing your business plan, doing something. And that doing is what actually sets us into motion. How are we going to create this epic Dharma, this vision that we were meant to manifest into reality? How are you going to climb the top of the mountain when you're so afraid of walking? Imagine you're like on this bottom of this mountain, and the top of the mountain is your highest expression, your ultimate Dharma, who you are in your most expansive form. And you're like, you know what? I don't think I have the energy to climb up that mountain. You know what? I feel like I need more ceremonial cacao. I feel like it's just not a good day. Like, my moon cycle's coming up. Astrologically, it's not really a good time for me to climb the mountain. So, I'm just going to put it off for now. Like, imagine if all you had to do was just start climbing and your Dharma will get closer and closer and closer to you. And how you climb makes you stronger, and that prepares you to get through any roadblock, any additional peak, because it's not just one summit. It is a mountain range. Your Dharma is not just one peak. It's not like, okay, I'm just going to trek really hard right now. I'm just going to try really hard this year or this month or this week, and then my Dharma is going to happen. No, it is a never-ending range of mountains. And you climb and you climb and you climb and you stay true to your vision, you get stronger. And as you take action, you get momentum and you learn the terrain, you learn how to walk, you get blisters on your feet, the blisters heal themselves. And then when you get to the summit, you breathe and you look out and you look at how far you've come and you give yourself credit and you celebrate and you drink that water and you praise the earth. And then you keep going. It's not just one peak. There's not just one purpose. I just had to do that one thing in life and I'm good. Vacation in Jamaica from now on. No, you keep going. And that is the purpose of life. That is why we as humans have drive. I shared this in last week's solo cast, but this is what has allowed us as humans to take a rock and turn it into a wheel and turn it into a building, a civilization, a pyramid. This is how we found meaning in the stars. This is how we found medicine in our plants. This is how we found patterns in our communication and myths in our stories. And this is how we created all alchemy. So imagine if those humans were like, it's just not really a good time for me to do anything. I still have a couple more episodes of Game of Thrones to watch. So I just told myself I wouldn't start with the whole pyramid thing until the season of Game of Thrones is over. And, they might do a spinoff of Khaleesi. So I'm actually just going to wait to see if that happens. And if it doesn't happen, then I'll do the pyramid thing. Like, no, they were like, I'm going to build that pyramid until the day I die. I'm going to keep building it and keep building it. And by the way, pyramids have major codes in them. And that's why you see them in all spiritual spots and ley lines all around the world. I was just in one, Chichen Itza and the Mayans, Egypt, all over the world. And it shows that when we are in alignment with our truth, we all carry these codes. There is no coincidence that we're seeing these pyramids, these sacred geometry, these ancient symbols, exact same symbols in different civilizations that lived in different times, like thousands of years, spaced apart from Lemuria to Atlantis to, Egypt, Mesopotamia, etc. Same symbols, same signs, same findings. Why? Because they're connected to source. And we have that same potential. In fact, in many ways, we are the most advanced than we have ever been before. We have technology on our side. We have so much life experience, so many past lives that we've had ever since those times. But for some reason, we've also become the laziest generation. And it's not just laziness out of sheer laziness, it's out of fear. In this month's Rose Gold Goddesses, every single month I write an ebook in Rose Gold Goddesses on the goddess of the month. And this past month was Durga, and it was all about Dharma. And I write about how procrastination is really just fear. And the reason why we are procrastinating something is because we are afraid of the outcome. We are afraid of how big and expansive and colossal we are going to become when we fully step into our Dharma. So because of that, we procrastinate, We eat some food, we scroll on Instagram, we watch some YouTube videos, we do something else to numb us, to make us feel dull, to keep us small, because we fully stepped up to the highest, most expansive version of who we are. Our ego wouldn't recognize ourselves. We would literally outgrow our very own skin. Our ego would be like, I don't even know who this person is anymore. And the ego does not want that. The ego wants to keep you safe, keep you where it knows what's happening. And that is exactly where you are. Your same thought patterns, your same fears, your same stories, your same limiting beliefs. That is where the ego knows what's up. But if you start outgrowing the ego and changing your identity and changing who you are and letting go of old stories that literally defined you, then you're surrendering to the unknown. And that's pretty freaking scary for an ego that wants to control everything. So this is what's happening right now. We're up-leveling. We're like, I am abundant. I am deserving of love. I am worthy. And then when the universe is like, okay, let me give you a situation to reflect that, and let's see if you can fully stand in it without quivering and making yourself small. You know, like, I just put the glass slipper on your foot. Can you walk with it? And the universe often gives us exactly what we want, but we don't level up for it. I want to repeat that. The universe often gives us exactly what we want, but we don't level up for it. And then what happens is the universe allows our free will to let it slip away. You know, you meet that perfect person and it's beautiful, but you don't look at your inner shadows, your dad wounds that are showing up, and it essentially causes the relationship to fizzle out. Or you get that perfect job and then your old habits come up and you're not doing your best and you end up getting fired. You get that perfect opportunity and you don't put in the work for it. You know, I think what's happening in the spiritual world is we are believing that the universe is going to do everything for us when the universe is actually co-creating with us. And this is a very important distinction, because if we think the universe is going to do everything for us, we basically outsource responsibility, we outsource creation, we outsource passion, we outsource the very things that make us human. What's your dosha? Well, if you want to find out, I invite you to take my quick little quiz over on IamSaharaRose.com. And in a couple questions, I will let you know the exact percentages of the doshas in your mind and in your body, and email you a free 3-day mini course on how to include Ayurveda into your modern lifestyle. So head over to my website, IamSaharaRose.com, to discover your dosha today. So imagine if I just sat around saying, you know, I really want to create a podcast and it's going to reach so many people and change so many lives. And I can't wait for this podcast. Everyone's going to listen to it. So I'm just going to put on my vision board. What's going to happen? I'm going to look back at that vision board at that exact same picture. And guess what? That shit has not showed up in my life. But guess how it is going to happen? The good old doing. The good old me Googling, how does a podcast work? Trying to figure it out, trying to buy equipment, trying to record, listening to myself, giving myself feedback, maybe playing it for a friend, seeing if it's good, trying, creating, failing. This is how we create things. I don't get what it is right now that's happening in spirituality that we think that we can bypass that. Nor should we. Like, if I had never done my first podcast, I would have never created my second. I would have never improved. I would never be on like 200 something that I'm on now. Like, I have to show up. I have to put in the work. And I can pray for it. I can meditate on it. These are effective in ways, but it's not going to make it show up in your life unless your actions bring it to life. And again, I think that it negates our responsibility and it feels easier for us to wish for something and not put in the work for it. To wish for something, and then when it's not showing up, not take the responsibility that it was because of us that it hasn't showed up. Because if you believe in law of attraction, you would realize that your life is a reflection of your thoughts. Therefore, if the things that you are seeking after are not showing up, that means you're not thinking like a person who does it. That doesn't mean you're not thinking about the thing. I can think about my Oscar or my Grammy or my Nobel Peace Prize all day, but am I thinking like a person who wins an Oscar, a Grammy, or a Nobel Peace Prize? That is what The Secret forgot to tell you, my friends. It is way easier to sell a version that's like, think about a Ferrari and it shows up. Like, I don't think that should really be anyone's goal because it's just an overpriced car, but think like a person who has that thing. That is actually how it works. So let's say it is an Oscars or whatever. That person who won the Oscars doesn't sit around and meditate, Oscar, Oscar, Oscar. I'm feeling the Oscar in my, like maybe right before they were up for their nomination, they're doing that, but they showed up audition after audition after audition. They got rejected, probably thousands of times. They put in the hours. They learned the lines. They got up early, day after day. They sat through hair and makeup. They sat through run-throughs. Whatever it is that an actor does, I don't know the whole process. They did it. I'm sure you guys who are actors know the struggle. And finally, they showed up and put their all into that thing that then they are being rewarded for their action. And it's not just the universe rewarding them. They fucking created that shit. So I think what happens often is we just focus on that thing we want and we don't think about the journey. And the journey is the preparation for it. Again, I could put you on stage for the Super Bowl halftime. Are you going to do a good job? No. You have to practice. You have to get creative. You have to put in the sweat. Like the reason why so many people don't have the lives that they want to live is because they're not willing to do that. And this is the most spiritual thing that you can do, to put in the work towards bringing something to life that will lift the vibration of the planet. It is not sitting around and being yet another person who's praying for a life that they don't have. I think we have enough of that. What we need more of are people who are solving real world problems. People who are entertaining, people who are being activists, people who are healing, people who are really doing the work. And that only happens when you go through the journey. That only happens when you uplevel. When you resist all of the difficulties that come your way and you say, oh God, it must not be meant for me because it's so difficult. Then you basically negate yourself from stepping up to the person that you were meant to be. And I know what you're thinking right now. It's, well, how do I know if it's difficult because it's not meant for me? And how do I know if it's difficult because it's just something that I have to get through? And this is the eternal question. My best response that I can answer for you based on my own experience of being rejected for things that many people would have stopped at. For example, my first book, Eat Right for Your Mind Body Type, that I wrote, which was before Idiot's Guide to Ayurveda. I never met an author, didn't have a book deal. Like I straight up just wrote this whole book, took two years to write it, lost my relationship with my parents. It was, I talk about it on different podcast episodes here, like how I discovered my Dharma and the first couple episodes, etc. But I really gave my life towards writing this book. Finally, I found a literary agent. Finally, we pitched it to all these different publishers. She was so excited about it. And all 30 publishers denied it. Why? Well, all the same fears around the book that I had. You're too young. No one cares about Ayurveda. You're not a doctor. It's never going to happen. This is too weird, too out there. No, this is never going to work. So after being rejected by 30 different publishers, one after one after one after one, my hopes up, I get a phone call, rejected. Hopes up, phone call, rejected. By the way, this doesn't happen like instantly. This is like months long of your hopes go up and down, similar to, I'm sure, how acting would be. So after being rejected by all of them, that would have been a really good place for me to stop, right? This book's never going to happen. No one cares what Ayurveda is. No one cares about me. I should just get a normal job. Everyone was right. My parents were right. All of them were right. What the hell was I thinking? So that is how most people would have reacted to the situation. But I knew in my soul, not always in my mind, but I knew in my soul that this book was going to be on the shelves of Barnes & Noble's, healing people's lives. And that is how I kept going, deciding, okay, I'll just self-publish it. I don't need a publisher. I'll just self-publish it. And then that's what led to that literary agent being contacted by Penguin Random House looking for someone to write the official Idiot's Guide to Ayurveda, me having already written a book, sending that book to them, me writing the first chapter, the table of contents, them liking the work, me getting hired, which led to me walking up to Deepak Chopra, which led to, a lot of other stuff. All of that would not have happened had I said, I'm being rejected, so this isn't going to work. Maybe this isn't the right path for me. Maybe it's just not going to, maybe there's something else better out there for me. If it's not flowing, I'm just going to stop. This is when you're actually going against karma. So I share this a lot in different High Self podcast episodes, and this is something I write about in my book, Discover Your Dharma, and it's kind of the laws of my life. But when you're living in alignment with your Dharma, like complete alignment with your Dharma, all areas in alignment, you experience Kriya, which is flow. And that is when you're experiencing the synchronicities and the doors lining up and you're meeting the right people at the right time. And you're on a creative role. Like right now, I am 100% living my life in Kriya. Not constantly. I still, go off path. Should I try this? Oh, it's not working. Okay, go back on path. But to get to Kriya, to get to flow, you have to first maneuver the wheels. So imagine if Dharma, your life's purpose, your soul's purpose, the big reason why you're here, which by the way is not just one career, it can be many careers, it could be one career, that might not even be a career, it's your soul's expression. Imagine that is on the end of a highway. So you're on this highway, you're driving down cruise control, you're flowing, that's Kriya. That's how life was meant to be lived. Majority of life is supposed to be Kriya. However, most of us, we get distracted by the exits. This exit says, you'll make more money doing that. Oh, right, turn here, it's a safer path. Or, oh God, people will laugh at you if you try to keep going straight, so come here. Or, oh God, that dream, it's never gonna happen. You're never gonna get there. Come over here. Most of us take these exits instead. Our society, our school, our teachers, our parents, they're ushering us towards these exits. Most people you'll meet have taken off an exit and have given up on their journey towards Dharma. So when you go off path towards Dharma and you take these exits, you experience bounded action by the universe. This is called karma. So that karma might be showing up as difficulties, things getting really stressful, really hectic. They're not flowing anymore. Each day feels really tough and really challenging. And essentially what it is, it's the universe blocking you from going out of alignment from your Dharma. So the universe can't show up in genie form. It has to show you in the ways that it can, which is flow versus not flow. So that karma is how most of us have lived our entire lives. Most of us have gone so far off that exit that we don't even remember where Dharma is. Most people, if I said, what's your soul's purpose? I have no idea. So most of us have gone so off that exit that to come back to Dharma Highway, to come back to that Kriya, to come back to that cruise control, we have to drive through a lot of shit. We have to go backwards. We have to unlearn, uncondition, unravel. And that is not easy. That is where the challenges show up. So most of us were like, oh, the challenges are showing up. It must not be meant for me. No, honey, it's because you're so off path that for you to get back to the Kriya, to the flow, you're going to have to let go of a lot of things that you have attached to yourself. whether it is relationships, whether it is limiting beliefs, whether it is money blocks, all of these things. And that is not easy. That takes work. That takes, maybe it is counseling, maybe it is shamanic practices, plant medicine, EMDR, tapping. There's so many healing modalities out there in the world, breath work, etc. But those challenges that show up are actually bringing you more towards your Dharma. Though they are challenging at the time, they are up-leveling you. So I always ask, what is the vibration of the challenge? Is it bringing you towards greater expansion or contraction? For example, me writing my book, there are many times I do not want to write it. I'm like, holy crap, remember my life before I had a freaking book to write, when I could just turn off my laptop sometimes and think about normal things, miss those days, It can be really challenging and really confronting, and sometimes you just really want to run away, right? But is me quitting my book because of that, is that going to take me to my most expansive self? No, I'm actually going to feel like shit if I quit writing my book. Though it's challenging, it's challenge that's expanding me. Again, it's like working out. It's difficult, but my biceps are getting stronger, and I want that. However, if it is challenging, my boss is verbally abusive, and every day I go to work, she's just criticizing me, and all my coworkers are super gossipy, and there's always drama happening, and I'm always feeling like I'm on edge and I'm in fight or flight, and I cry when I come home every day, and I'm so stressed out, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what other job to get, and I hate going to work every day. That is challenging, and it's not expansive. You showing up there is not actually bringing you to your most expansive self. It's actually contracting you. It's actually making you a duller version of yourself. Because every day you have to show up there, you minimize yourself, you're bracing yourself, you are letting go of who you are because you're on edge, you're in fight or flight, you're in fear. So if you're going through a challenge, is it expanding or is it contracting you? And again, this is something I write a lot about in Discover Your Dharma. Because I feel like in the spiritual community, we've kind of taken on this belief that, anytime it's a challenge, you better just go the other way, no challenge zone. It's no, we are always going to be confronted by challenges because those challenges are our opportunities to grow. 2020, it's an awesome year. Guess what? You're going to cry. Guess what? There are going to be challenges. Let's not pretend that suddenly one day everything is going to be completely easy. There's no such thing as that. You can have more ease in your life, you can have more flow, but even if you lived in an all-inclusive hotel, eventually that would get old and you'll be trying to get into the tourist bus just to get the fuck out of there. We can't, even in utopia, we've all seen different documentaries of people who tried to make utopias and they always went sour. We can't run away from struggles and obstacles. We have to embrace them. And in fact, it's when we embrace them as learning opportunities that they don't become so daunting and scary. When we're afraid of obstacles, oh God, here comes an obstacle, brace yourself, I don't know what to do about it. Oh, I need to go on a retreat or something. No, if you're just an opportunity for me to up-level. What am I learning here? Oh, I'm learning more patience. Oh, I'm learning how to communicate better. Oh, I'm learning my boundaries. Oh, I'm learning who my true friends are. What amazing gifts. These up-levelings are here to bring you greater truth, greater alignment, greater prosperity. Imagine if you didn't face many of the obstacles that you faced. Some of the most challenging times in your life. Think of some of the most challenging times of your life. Maybe it was a breakup. Maybe it was being fired or a move or a fight or even a divorce. Think about if that didn't happen, who you'd be. Would you be as wise, as spiritual, as aware as you are today, had that not happened? All of these obstacles, when we take them as medicine, they bring us further truth. They're not something to be bypassed. to be jumped over. There's no pill you can take to never have any more obstacles in your life. Like, hello, as long as there are stars in the sky and astrology, there's always going to be Mercury retrogrades, hon. We can't run away from that, but we can shift our perspective on it. Instead of, all hell's about to break loose, Mercury retrogrades here, the eclipses are here, this is here, everything's going to suck. We're like, great. This is going to shatter anything that is not in alignment with my truth. All it can do is help me. And all perceived obstacles are actually uplevelings, lessons, gifts from source. And all I have to do is step up to it. Makes me stronger, makes me more aware, makes me more passionate, brings me closer to my truth, allows me to experience more love, blessings. So if you're going through it, you're going through the uplevelings, you're going through the obstacles, I invite you to shift your perspective on it. I invite you to, in fact, be grateful for it. Every night when you're writing your gratitude list, or in the morning when you're doing your practice, choose your obstacles, because they are actually the greatest gifts that you have. So if you would like more content, community, and support from me, if you want to take this experience of Highest Self Podcast to the next level, I invite you to join Rose Gold Goddesses, my sacred sisterhood collective all about embodying your highest self. We have monthly live webinars with me each month related to its own goddess. We have bi-weekly workshops by many of your favorite Highest Self Podcast guests, members in the community as well, opportunities for you to share your medicine with the community. We have weekly goddess practices, a monthly ebook that I write, my master classes, Awaken Your Power, Sex, Money, Magic, Discover Your Dharma. They're all in there. So everything you need, consider it your spiritual gym membership, is waiting for you in Rose Gold Goddesses. And it is for those who identify with the goddess within. So if you'd like to learn more and join us, head over to rosegoldgoddesses.com. Again, that is rosegoldgoddesses, plural.com. And I look so forward to meeting you in there. And if you loved this episode, I would love if you could leave me a review in the iTunes store. And as a free gift, I will share with you the first half of my unreleased book, Eat Right for Your Mind Body Type. Simply email a screenshot of your review over to Sahara at eatfeelfresh.com. Again, Sahara, Sahara, at eatfeelfresh.com. And I will send you over the first half of my unreleased book, Eat Right for Your Mind Body Type. Thank you and namaste.